What if I told you that some creatures exist that are neither human, nor animal, nor anything science can explain? These are the 10 most terrifying moments when cameras accidentally captured something beyond belief. Stay until the end because number 1 is so shocking, it might make you question reality itself. Number 10. The thing in the forest. That wasn't human. In 2018, a group of hikers in a remote European forest captured something truly bone-chilling. As they walked deeper into the woods, they heard whispers, voices that seemed to come from the trees themselves. Then, a pale, skeletal figure emerged from the shadows, standing unnaturally still. The hikers froze. Their camera recorded the ghoulish shape, bony arms, hollow eyes, and skin stretched so tight over its frame that it looked like a corpse. Then it moved. Not like a human, not like an animal, but something entirely unnatural, as if it were glitching through reality. The video cuts off as the hikers scream and run. Who or what was it? A lost soul? A cryptid? Or something even worse? But here's the real nightmare. Days later, one of the hikers found deep claw marks outside their bedroom window, almost as if something had followed them home. Number 9. The eyes in the cave that shouldn't exist. Deep inside a forgotten cave system in Mexico, a group of explorers were documenting their journey when they came across something their eyes refused to believe. The cave was dark, silent, too silent. As they moved forward, the camera caught something in the shadows. 2 eyes. Not human. Not animal. Something else. Then the worst thing imaginable happened. It blinked. And it wasn't alone. More eyes. Glowing. Watching. The explorers turned their flashlights on, revealing a dozen twisted figures clinging to the walls. Elongated limbs, featureless faces, mouths too wide to be real. Then, they moved. Crawling. Fast. Towards the explorers. The video ends with the camera dropping and static filling the screen. The footage was recovered, but the people in it? Never seen again. Number 8. The not deer that knew it was being filmed. In the deep woods of West Virginia, a man driving late at night saw what looked like a deer standing in the road, but something felt wrong. He slowed down, and as his headlights illuminated the creature, his blood ran cold. Its legs were too long. Its joints bent in ways no normal animal should. Its eyes were hollow, reflecting the light in an unnatural glow. And then, it stood up, on 2 legs. The driver panicked, hitting the gas, just as the creature twisted its head 180 degrees to look directly at the camera. The video cuts off in static, but the driver later claimed, "I don't know what it was, but when I got home, hoof prints were outside my window." Number 7. The creature that came out of the lake and walked. This footage was captured near Lake Baikal, Russia, one of the deepest lakes in the world. For centuries, there have been rumors of strange things beneath the water. A group of campers decided to investigate. They regretted it immediately. Their camera caught a dark figure emerging from the lake, humanoid in shape, but wrong. It had no face. Its arms were long, webbed, and it wasn't swimming. It was walking on the lake bed, as if gravity didn't apply to it. And then, it turned toward them. The water around it began to ripple, as if something much, much bigger was underneath, just waiting to surface. The campers ran. The footage was found days later, but the campers were not. Number 6. The thing that knocked back in. In 2003, a security guard in an abandoned hospital heard a strange knocking sound on one of the doors. It was 3 a.m. The building was supposed to be empty. The guard, recording everything, walked toward the sound. Knock, knock, knock. He knocked back just as a joke. Then something knocked back harder. The guard laughed, until he realized he was the only person on that floor. Then the door handle started turning. His camera recorded a shadow under the door, something massive, hunched, waiting. The knocking grew louder, more aggressive. The guard ran for his life, but as he turned a corner, a handprint appeared on the glass window ahead of him. He looked behind him. No one was there. To this day, that hospital remains closed. But at night, some say, You can still hear knocking. Please subscribe, because hitting your subscribe button can give me new motivation to work harder and succeed. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next, because number 1 might be the most terrifying footage ever recorded. Number 5, the creature that followed the hikers. For days. In 2021, a group of hikers decided to document their week-long trek through the dense forests of Alaska. They expected beautiful scenery, but instead, they became prey. The first night they heard rustling in the bushes. Not unusual, but the next night, they saw something. A tall, gangly figure standing just beyond their campsite, perfectly still, watching. One of them grabbed their camera, zooming in. But the moment the camera focused, the figure moved. Fast. It darted into the trees in a way that looked wrong, unnatural, like a glitch in reality. The hikers panicked, but they didn't leave. That was their biggest mistake. Over the next few nights, their camera picked up strange sounds. Low growls, whispers in an unknown language, footsteps circling their tents. But when they looked outside, nothing. On the final night, one hiker set up a night vision camera while the others slept. The next morning, he was gone. His backpack, his sleeping bag, everything untouched. And the footage? It showed something crawling into their camp at 3 a.m. Its limbs bending the wrong way, its face featureless, except for its wide, grinning mouth. Then, the video cut to static. Number 4. The man in the abandoned house that wasn't human. A group of urban explorers entered an abandoned mansion in rural France. The place had been empty for decades, or so they thought. As they moved from room to room, their camera caught something disturbing. A tall, shadowy figure standing at the end of the hallway, completely still. One of them called out, thinking it was a homeless man. But it didn't answer. It didn't even move. They took a step closer, and the lights flickered violently. And in that single, flashing moment, the figure was suddenly right next to them. The explorers screamed, running toward the exit. But the video caught something horrifying in the reflection of a broken mirror. The figure's mouth was opening, wider than humanly possible, stretching like a void. The footage ends there, but the explorers claim that for weeks after, they heard knocking on their doors at exactly 3:15 a.m. Number 3. The creature in the security footage that wasn't supposed to exist. In 2019, a small-town gas station security camera recorded something so terrifying, the owner refused to work nights ever again. At 2:46 a.m., the camera picked up movement near the dumpsters. A stray dog. A raccoon. Number A. Tall, humanoid figure crawled out from behind the dumpster on all fours. But its arms were too long, too thin, bending in ways that should have broken bone. The creature stood up. Its pale, stretched skin looked almost translucent under the flickering gas station lights. And then, it did something impossible. It turned its head completely upside down and smiled. The footage cut to static for exactly 13 seconds. When it returned, the creature was gone. But the worst part? The dumpster was open. And inside was a pile of shredded clothes that weren't there before. To this day, no one knows what it was, and no one is willing to find out. Number 2. The hand that grabbed the diver from nowhere. A group of scuba divers exploring a sunken shipwreck in the Bermuda Triangle recorded something that defies explanation. As one diver swam deeper into the wreckage, his camera caught something reaching out from the darkness. A hand. Not human. Not fish. Something in between. It latched onto his oxygen tank. The diver panicked, thrashing, kicking toward the surface. His teammates tried to help, but there was nothing there. Just dark water. But when they reviewed the footage, the hand was clearly visible. Clawed, webbed fingers, too long for any known species. And behind it, a massive shadow. Something lurking just beyond the camera's light. Watching, waiting. The diver survived, but his oxygen tank had deep claw marks. And here's the nightmare. The wreckage was 100 years old. And inside the ship, they found an old, rusted diving suit with the same claw marks. Number 1. The man who walked out of the woods and wasn't a man at all. This is perhaps the most disturbing, unexplainable footage ever captured. In 2016, a man named Daniel Beck was driving through a remote highway in Canada when he saw someone walking on the side of the road. It was freezing cold, snowing heavily. But the man on the road? He was barefoot, wearing only a thin shirt, and walking, strangely. Daniel pulled over and started filming. He rolled down his window and called out, "Hey, are you okay?" The man stopped walking, but he didn't turn around. He just stood there, completely still. Daniel's breath caught in his throat as the man's neck twisted, slowly backward. Not his body, just his head. His eyes were glowing. His mouth stretched into an impossible grin. Then, he started running. Fast! Straight at the car. Daniel screamed, threw the car into reverse, and sped off. His dash cam captured the final horrifying moment.